decision at the time.
And my final question, because you're heading to Poland tomorrow, do you think that getting a first-hand look at the effects of this war on these millions of Ukrainians who have fled their country could change the way that you might respond?
I don't think so, because I've been to many, many war zones. I've been in refugee camps. I've been in war zones for the last 15 years, and it's devastating. But the thing you look at the most is you see these young children. You see children without parents that are in those camps or in refugees. You see women and husbands, men and women who are completely lost and have no nose. You see the look, that blank look on their face, that absolute feeling of, my God, where am I? What's going to happen to me? And so what it will do, it will reinforce my commitment to have the United States make sure we are a major piece of dealing with the relocation of all those folks, as well as humanitarian assistance needed both inside Ukraine and outside Ukraine. For example, this is not something that Poland or Romania or Germany should carry on their own. This is an international responsibility. The United States, as a leader, one of the leaders in the international community, has an obligation to be engaged and do all we can to ease the suffering and pain of innocent women and children and men, for that matter, throughout Ukraine, and those who have made it across the border. I plan on attempting to see those folks, as well as I hope I'm going to be able to see, I guess I'm not supposed to say where I'm going, am I? But anyway, I hope to see a lot of people. I'm going to be able to see, I guess I'm not supposed to say where I'm going, am I? But anyway, I hope I get to see a lot of people. Marcus, Der Spiegel, I have nothing more to report. With regard to food shortage, yes, we did talk about food shortages. And it's going to be real. The price of these sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia. It's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country as well. And because both Russia and Ukraine have been the breadbasket of Europe in terms of wheat, for example, just to give one example. But we had a long discussion in the G7 with both the United States, which has a significant, the third largest producer of wheat in the world, as well as Canada, which is also a major producer. And we both talked about how we could increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortages. In addition to that, we talked about urging all the European countries and everyone else to end trade restrictions on sending, limitations on sending food abroad. And so we are in the process of working out with our European friends what it would take to help alleviate the concerns relative to food shortages. We also talked about a significant major U.S. investment, among others, in terms of providing for the need for humanitarian assistance, including food, as we move forward. Tarina of the Wall Street Journal. Watch out you don't get hit in the head there now.
Tarina of the Wall Street Journal. Watch out you don't get hit in the head there now. Mr.
President, in your view, does President Zelensky need to cede any Ukraine?
Journal as we move forward. Tarina of the Wall Street Journal. Watch out you don't get hit in the head there now.
Mr. President, in your view, does President Zelensky need to cede any Ukrainian territory in order to gain a ceasefire with Russia, or is that complete? Or is that complete?
Say that, in fact, the sanctions would deter him. Sanctions never deter. You keep talking about that. Sanctions never deter. The maintenance of sanctions, the increasing the pain, and the demonstration why I asked for this NATO meeting today is to be sure that after a month we will sustain what we're doing, not just next month, the following month, but for the remainder of this entire year. That's what will stop him.
Do you believe the actions today will have an
Sanctions never deter. The maintenance of sanctions, the increasing the pain, and the demonstration why I asked for this NATO meeting today is to be sure that after a month we will sustain what we're doing, not just next month, the following month, but for the remainder of this entire year. That's what will stop it. Do you believe the actions today will have an
impact on making Russia change course in Ukraine?
That's not what I said. You're playing a game with me. I know. The answer is no. I think what happens is we have to demonstrate the purpose. The single most important thing is for us to stay unified and the world continue to focus on what a brute this guy is, and all the innocent people's lives are being lost and ruined.
Thank you very much to Roman, that's the channel that made this video. So I hope there's a little bit of information that everybody likes in his video, but I'd like to continue his video. A lot of people use these star trails and I quite struggle with them because a long time ago somebody said to me, Owen, that he put a couple of pictures in and the camera did the rest and made the star trail, but it couldn't be true, could it? Because it was only a couple of photographs. So that's one reason I struggle with these. Also, it doesn't show what the stars are really doing. I have a Big Dipper here, that's with the bucket, and it goes around my house. Starts off on one side, and by late in the morning it's going over my house. I never see the very last bit, whether it's summer or winter. I've never seen the very end of it. But these star trails never show it going round, because if people monitor the sky, I have stars which come in from the east and go west. I have stars which come east north and go, which are going south southeast. I've got the Big Dipper which goes north south east west, and it goes on. And there are other stars that do this. Well, those star trails never ever pick up what's really going on, especially with the Big Dipper. I've watched the Big Dipper. It's like I'm sitting north right now. East is to my right, west is to my left, south is behind me. I've watched the Big Dipper go in north, and the stars turn round, and then it goes, so it was going fairly north, then the stars turn round, then it starts going east, then the stars turn round, then it starts going south, the stars turn round, and it starts going west. Now, it does that over the night, summer, winter. And when it gets to the right side of my house, it's right up in the sky. When it goes on the left-hand side of my house, it's much lower. Where do these star trails ever pick that up? That's why I don't believe them. It's nothing to do with this person. I love what this person's done. But I don't believe the analemmas, and I don't believe these star trails. They're just not right. A camera is doing it. Hi there everybody. I'm not progressing to know anything really. I have just, each one of us picks the thing that we like to look at. Mine ends up being that I like watching the Big Dipper. A lot of people like watching the other stars, the sun, the moon, whatever's going on, but I like the Big Dipper. So I've made this little video because the first part was done in November 2016, but I'd been watching it all that summer, and I watched it last year, and I watched the Big Dipper going past my house about 8 o'clock at night to the left of my house, so the west side but going north. I watched that for 2 years. That's when I became into flat earth. It's just that right now on my app, well, 45 minutes now because I've been putting this video together, but the Big Dipper was going over my house and was in a completely different place than it was the last 2 years going past my house about 8 o'clock. I just wondered if everybody else had noticed that the stars are in different place than they were, or whether this is normal or natural, because, as I say, I'm just doing my observations through observations. And the other thing I'd like to say about all this is that the Big Dipper kind of comes in at a slight angle, so it's coming from the south and it's going north, but it's going slightly east, okay? So it's coming in at a slight angle. There's houses here, and then it goes round, mine's on the left hand side, there's houses the other side of the road, but when it gets to this corner of the estate, the Big Dipper comes in, bends down and turns round. The leg of it turns round, and instead of it going north, it now starts going west to east, and then it bends down, then it goes up, twists, 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 comes sort of across this way, but then it's going west to east. When it gets here, then, although it's right up in the sky, it's going north to south. And then when it gets to about my house, the edge of my house here, obviously that's not quite right, is it? But there's my observation of where it is in the sky. It turns around again here and starts going east to west and going back across this way. But always, I never saw this part of it because either I fell asleep or it was getting light. So 8 o'clock was the summertime. In the winter, it was started here, coming up about 5, 6 o'clock in the evening when it was getting dark. But in the summer, I saw it doing this bit, and then the longer night means that that's how I saw it. So I knew it came past here for the summer months, and then I lost it about here because it started to get light again. But in the winter months, you could see it going all the way around there, all the way around there, and then to there. I just would like to say, how do the cameras, the P900 especially, get the star trails like that? Even if this thing was going round, it doesn't pick up that it goes down, then it starts going up, and then it starts coming across. It never picks up that this thing is not just doing a circle. It goes right down there and right up there, right way up in the sky. Why is that never ever depicted on a star trail camera? And as far as I can see, the stars don't, this set of stars goes around corners. It doesn't go round like this. It does certain mechanical things and goes like this almost, except it is in a slight angle, because I say it slightly comes like this and then bends down over here. So I kind of made it more like a double diamond shape at the top. But this thing is not going round like this. I've got stars which come across here and then start going round. I've got stars which go down this way, and when I look to the south, the stars are going straight across from east to west. I don't understand it all myself. Just showing the date of this video, it was the 26th of November 2016 is when I filmed this. I'm going to show it because everything's looking different today. Group, if I show this to the group. Another little video. I've always said the Big Dipper comes past my house going this way, probably like that, but going this way like that, to this corner here where it bends over and turns round. In the summer, this is really late at night, maybe 11:30 onwards to 1 o'clock, and in the winter it's starting about, I don't know now, about 5-6 o'clock. And then it would get light here, so I couldn't see any more of what the Big Dipper was doing. But now we're getting darker much earlier. Not long after the Big Dipper comes out of this and straightens out, does it start going up and up and up. And now, when it's going around this corner, it does this most weird flip and over. I can't explain it any more than that. To then be going this way, and then somewhere to come round this corner, it turns round this way and was going across there, and I got to about 4:30, 5 o'clock this morning, and then obviously I had to go to bed. So straight down, up and over, and then around again to go across there. So I don't really know what shape, how the Big Dipper is going round. I mean, what real shape it's doing, but the only one I can draw are these ones. Yeah, I mean, I think it's doing more this, but if you look, it could be this. It's just my angle in my house. This is what the Big Dipper's doing. So does that tell you anything? What does that tell you? Does it tell you anything? That's the shape I think it's making in the sky. Is this? It's doing this, so I reckon it's this. What do you reckon then? Because I've not studied the stars for millions of years, so only a few years, but the last 2 years, the Big Dipper, this is my house. I have a really crazy north, south, east and west, and the Big Dipper, Polaris is sort of almost bang centre over my bedroom. So, and I live in this housing estate. There's another house here, the houses go around here and then I've watched for the last few years this Big Dipper. I'm not saying it goes actually into my housing estate, but from what I can see from here, when it gets to the corner over here, this thing comes in at a slight angle, bends down, goes along a little bit, and goes right up in the air, twists round, and at the moment it's going past like that because I've just taken a picture on my app. So where is it goes past my, well, I see it when the light, when it's starting to get dark in the in the more summer months, it's going, you know, it's here. In the winter, it comes up here when it gets dark, but in the summer, it's been coming past here. And although I see it going past, dipping down there, I told you, going along and then going up and around, it actually goes across my house. So I can't be quite centre, but Polaris seems to be in the centre of my house. But I'm just a bit concerned because the last few years it's been here at this time of night, and right now it's here. It's in a different place. Does anybody have any ideas about what that is? I just wonder what all this is about, and yeah. Does anybody have any ideas? And they'll tell you this camera sees infinity, which isn't true. We can only see for a few miles. These ones can view in maybe 20-25 miles max. They can see mountains and stuff like that, which you wouldn't be able to see. But it's not infinity. So it can't. These have to be in your view. These have to be a couple of miles away, 25 miles away max, for the camera to pick these up. Anyway, what it is when we get to this bit, I have played this a few times, but I'm gonna put this back in because it's Stan Smith's work, and if anybody's listening to the video, it's just so sad. Stan was in his 30s, late 30s, but he died last year now. Getting on for a year, I suppose. And it's just so sad. He was a lovely guy, and he worked really hard, because what he did was he used the goggle headsets that you have on the games. At the virtual reality they are, and when he put them on his computer and put the photographs in, this is what the photographs did. So let's play his video. And what it is that he got a 360 camera for there. See these, for the ones there with the clouds, sunrise and stuff like that. He had a 360 camera up on his roof. And, well, we'll show in a minute because it will be coming up in a moment. This here. What he did was, he took moon readings, there's the moon readings, and he put them in a goggle set, you know, a headset. And when he put them in the headset, they matched in with what the headset was doing. So basically what it was showing was that in your perspective, the sun, the moon and the stars, all of it, they come out of the ground and they go into the ground, which is what this is showing you. So he was always wanting more readings, and it didn't quite happen like he wanted it to. But I really liked his bright mind. See, he's just a clever bod. He'd work things out, and he wasn't just doing it. It wasn't just him. There was other people as well. Cosmic Surfer. There was other people, but you know, Stan was my real connection. I mean, this was probably 2017, 18, somewhere like that, when he did this. But everything always matched in with the headset. Into the ground, out of the ground, into the ground, out of the ground. And obviously, like the one before, it was much bigger. It depended where you were, whether you were nearer the North Pole or further away from the North Pole. Some of the readings, that's the lines here will be different depending on how close you are to the North Pole. When I first saw this video, I was like, wow. Because once you realise that it is something very like this, yeah, my whole, you know, I'm not saying it hasn't changed and there's been other things, but something like this, you just think, my whole life has just changed. Because you saw something different now and understood something different. Like, wow. And I much appreciate Stan Smith. Anyway, what it is this is his 360 camera on his roof. I was like, look at that sun thing going. Like, wow, beam me up, Scotty. Here we come. This one quite amazes me. Right, the sun is coming towards you, but when you look at the shadow, you know, the sun glare on the land, you realise that the sun is turning round. The sun's turning round. You can see it with the shadow. Yeah, the shadow's getting bigger and closer, but it's turning the sun round, and what it is in a minute you're going to see it even more. Oh, I wish that I'd noticed this when Stan was alive. Anyway, poor old Stan. He was still in his 30s, I think. Such just tragic. But anyway, he'd be quite happy me showing you this. Anyway, what it is I suddenly noticed that on the house, no, it'll come from the left in a moment, that the sun started coming back. So you can see the chimneys on his roof in front of his house, and you've just seen the sun. So I was like, wow, and it'll be back in a moment, it will come. Here it comes. That's in the left hand corner there. That's the sun coming back. How does that happen? It's going back where it's come from. It's going back the same way. It's just come from. Well, this footage is obviously sped up. It's time lapse, but the sun's back and it's now going back the other way. Like, how does that happen? Anyway, in a moment, here comes the sun glare. They're going to meet together and we're going to blob off again. Here they come. They're attracted. Here it comes. Attraction. Now we're in the lava lamp. Lava lamp. Lava lamp. Lava lamp. Oh, beam me up, Scotty. It's a bit crazy, isn't it? I don't think I've ever really noticed that before on footage. Anyway, wow. Now it's just going to get dark. Because he just left his camera up there and would record 24/7 and then put the videos on later on. Hours of it. That's the moon going there on the right. And here comes dawn. This was, it says a year ago. He hadn't put anything on his channel for a bit, to be honest. Here comes the sun. And I think it's just going to do the same thing. You're going to watch it turn round. I mean, these are only days apart. And the sun's coming in at different angles. I just don't understand how people get the Amelinas. They're all... The sun does different things on different days. Comes in quick, goes out fast. Comes in slow, goes out quick. You know, sometimes it's there, boom. And then sometimes it's like coming in from a long way. Look, the sun's turning round again. Well, that's what I think's going on. Here it comes. Squidgy round. Squidgy round. That's what I think we're seeing. I was like, wow. Here it comes. It's turning round now. Do you see it? Wow. Wait. Did everybody know that? Because I didn't. Cool. Look at that. It's turning round. Stan, I love you. So sorry that I didn't notice that when you were here. To have a this started off when I thought with this video that I could put a couple of bits together and then hopefully that would explain what I was trying to say. But then I think, well, is it explained well enough for people to understand? Because unless you've watched it, you won't really know what I'm going on about, because you see all those time-lapse photographs. But what it was is, a few years ago, I said to my friend Malk, "It turns round, Malk, it turns round. I see it, I see the stars turning round. I've watched it, I've watched it." So he started to do the same with the Big Dipper. And he watched the stars turning round. They turned round. The back ones, the leg, turns round. As well as the buckets going up and down. Like I said, it's so high on the left, but really high on the right. And it's probably more magnified on the left than it is the right. Whatever that is. So we're going to put this video on. It's going round in the sky in front of you quite a lot, and then it goes down. And then, wow, that boat sure does move around a lot. Obviously the waves and the tides are moving around, but you see this Big Dipper? There's no circling. That is the Big Dipper going down. And then actually, maybe it's people's perspective, but I see the stars turn around, and I'm so glad that Malk did. These back ones turn round. Now they say that this isn't a constellation. These stars together turn round, go up and down, and go north, south, east, and west every night. And they're not even connected. They're all supposed to be different stars, and they've told you that they're light years away of rubbish. But when it comes down here, this is starting to turn round. Look, can you see? It's starting to turn round just here. Turn around. But that's as far as you can go with the footage, because people never film. They just get a bit of it. Anyway, that I don't think cameras pick up, but me and Malk saw these stars turn round. I didn't see hundreds of other stars turn round with this, just saw these ones. This thing was doing its own thing. Anyway, let's carry on with the video.